Obviously, the largest is the liability from an employer standpoint. You are personally liable for any aspect of the plan, the people you hire, how it's run, and unless you outsource it, it could even be the administration and the investments. The other risk is lack of knowledge in how plans are run. So now you have to find people to help you run the retirement plan, a record keeper, a TPA, an advisor, an educator. And most people are unfortunately reaching out and just looking at it from a friendship standpoint or some type of connection where they know, not really looking into it in terms of the experience and expertise behind the people they're hiring, which obviously leads back to our first issue of liability. Did you hire the proper person with regards to help you run the plan? So those would be the two biggest. What are some of the biggest errors or misses that plan sponsors aren't seeing when offering retirement plans? Is an overdependence earlier, the record keeper, the TPA, the advisor. For example, you have to file a 5500 every year, which is basically a reporting that goes to the IRS and DOL about different aspects of the plan. Most of it gets filled in by the record keeper, but they're just basing it off information. They're not the fiduciary. You're supposed to be able to verify that it's all true. Most people just look at it, assume everyone put the right information in, hit the sign button and submit it. Now you file the tax document for which, there's a good portion of the population that offers plans has no idea what's in that document. And there were some very important questions about who's touching the money. What are the investments like? Have you reviewed certain things like that? So you might want to take a minute and take a look. So that's a big risk. And again, complacency is also an issue. They hired someone, the plan is running fine, they think, nobody's complaining, so everything must be okay. Well, like anything else, a retirement plan, the industry evolves. There are better record keeping options. There's better technology. There's better investments. There's better education. These are all things you might want to, again, at least have a conversation about to make sure that you're keeping up to date. Because again, the key to running a good plan is a documented, prudent process. So you can show that you're putting the participants first and doing it in a prudent fashion, you're not going to have any issue. But if you're not looking at all of those different items on a fairly regular basis, how can you say that you're looking at it from a prudent process? Well, the Department of Labor and IRS, because again, you get your tax qualified status from the IRS, and obviously the Department of Labor oversees the runnings of the plan. So therefore, there are some very strict compliance issues you need to address as far as how you're running the plan, how you're documenting, how you're reporting it. A former employee who's no longer happy, one call to an 800 number at the Department of Labor and they're going to reach out. It might just be a phone call. They might just send you an email saying, answer these questions. If we're satisfied, we're good. If not, then, you're going to end up getting to the next level. Litigation, obviously, which is anyone who's familiar with the space lately, in the last 5 years has grown exponentially. Well, if there weren't issues in running retirement plans, then obviously the plaintiff's bar would not be drawn to the industry unless there's opportunity. And it's something that used to be only large plans. Now it's coming down dramatically. It's again, their targets and their issues, but if you take the time to look at it from a due diligence process and hire the right people to assist you, then all of those targets disappear. So while it seems like a large hurdle, it's not, but it does take some time and some effort. You can't just, look at it and say, okay, great, here's the box, we're done, and, move on.